Sweeney Answers Podcast, episode 112. Today I have a guest today, a special guest. Every guest is special, but today I have a special guest because we have a special event coming up February 9th. And I hopefully will get this to you before the 9th so you can get all the details and just get some more insight before we get to it. But today I have Miss Kendra here, the Charm City Maven. We want to talk about this event. We're going to talk about her business and everything she got going on around the city. Everything she doing goes right along with everything I'm doing with this podcast. Is about bringing the city to the forefront, bringing these hidden gems to life. And it's all about good insight and good input because she not gonna put you on nothing she ain't gonna fuck with. So so she gonna give us some game and some insight on a lot of shit today, and some insight on our event we got coming up. So you can do the honors of introducing yourself to the people.
Okay. First, thanks, Mook. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Like Mook said, my name is Kendra. I go by the Charm City Maven. I am a formerly a podcaster as well, because I'm on a podcast, but I am an influencer, content creator, overall Baltimore. I used to call myself Baltimore's best ambassador. So
okay, I like that.
That's the introduction.
I like that.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be an ambassador to you?
An ambassador means, usually an ambassador's position, or like as a diplomat, is like you go and try to impart goodwill to a foreigner or like a foreign entity, to extend an olive branch, give your offerings, extend goodwill to somebody who's basically not familiar with you.
Okay.
And my self-appointed role, I mean, it's not an official anything, but my self-appointed role is what I'm calling myself, Baltimore's best ambassador, is in part goodwill and community exchange amongst other Baltimoreans. Okay. We do have a lot of transplants that come into the area, a lot of people who are new to the city, but I also feel like there are a lot of people who are born and raised here who also need a reintroduction into the living, thriving experience that is Baltimore.
Totally agree. And that, I know you spoke, well, tell us what it means to be a Maven, and how did you come up with Charm City Maven as a title?
So, Maven means expert. And how I came across the name, I can't even really tell you how I came across the name. I mean, it sounds cool to me.
It's different.
It definitely sounds cool to me. My actual name, Kendra, it means in Old English, knowledgeable. Okay. So I was always and I kind of see myself as a know-it-all. I am that person.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes it could be something wrong with that. But yeah, so true. It just kind of I was looking for that. Before I was the Charm City Maven, I toured around with Charm City Mommy, which I actually still have as a business entity. But initially, when I was looking into going into content creation and being an influencer, whatever that means, it was going to be around mom-focused things, because initially I felt that the imagery that Baltimoreans receive, specifically black women, is always this poor, lacking thing. Mm-hmm. And as a mother who doesn't feel like she is coming from a place of lack, who has thriving children, I've had positive experiences in my pregnancies and my birth, just in being a parent overall. I felt like that was the information that needed to be put to the forefront too, specifically for my particular demographic as a black mom. Okay. But then I realized that as much as I love mom stuff, I didn't want to be put into that box. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for me, it made more sense to extend and broaden a brand and make a name that's more identifiable to myself and my perspective on the world overall, and the insights that I can give. So that's kind of where the name, the Maven, kind of came at. But still Charm City, because that is what I know, and this is where I'm from. And much like Drew Hill and a lot of people, we gonna put on Fire City. It's definitely it's something about us. We definitely want to rep.
For sure. I usually ask this question at the end, but I'm going to ask you now.
Okay.
What does Baltimore mean to you?
Baltimore means diamond in the rough. It really is a charming place. You know, at first glance, it kind of doesn't seem like it has much to offer, but if you have a keen eye, you can see the beauty in it.
Which is the whole dynamic behind your brand.
Yes.
See how I gave you the alley right
there?
there?
I love it. I love it.
So tell us. So if I go to your page, if I go to your page, you have a lot of events, and you like a calendar,
right?
Or week? Is it weekly?
Yeah, it's a weekly roundup. So the weekly roundup drops every Monday. It's usually 6 events, so 6 days out of a 7-day week, where I promote different events, things that I find cool that are happening in the city, and I try to. That's my way of creating a digital community. There's so many great spaces, there's so many event curators, just like dope people who are creating these events, and I have always gone to them and people are like, oh, I never knew that this was happening. So for me, it was the best way of like giving those people who put on events some shine, but also letting the people that I know, like, hey, like if you want to catch me, or like if you thinking of a place to go, like I got that for you. Like I know here's where I might be. Here's where I think that you should show up for sure.
How you go about finding the events, or how do you find them? Like, cause most of the stuff be like, is it stuff that you find, or is stuff that's like you can find it, you just not looking type stuff? Like anybody.
So.
I mean, don't give away
the secret sauce.
But so I'm only asking you that because if somebody was to find your page, if I'm coming, I don't want to say if I'm coming in town. If I'm here, and I just stumbled across your page, if I don't know nothing, or if I know stuff and it's like, if I go to your page, like, oh, I already know about this stuff,
right?
Or is it going to be like, oh, I would have never known about this stuff?
I like to think there are definitely a lot of events that people never would have known about.
Okay.
There are definitely a lot of things that are just simply word of mouth, where it's like if you know, you know. But also, like in terms of me, I am the person who goes to a coffee shop and looks at the if they have like a message, the bulletin board. Like I am looking at every single thing that's like on there. Like, like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. I'm taking pictures of it, referring back to it later. Like, cause you never know who that information might be valuable to.
Very true.
And even with my day job, like this is like useful information that I can like carry on to the next person. So I work at a school. I do digital marketing, enrollment, and events for a public charter school. But it's not my job, but kind of my job also to just stay abreast of what's happening in the city and bring resources back if it makes sense. So yeah, I'm always looking at stuff.
So what made you come up with this idea for the Charm City Maven?
Well, the Charm City Maven, it was, I'll say, back in, let's say like the pandemic. Really, the pandemic is kind of really what sparked it off. Like I was on Clubhouse. Everybody was on Clubhouse because everybody was like stuck in a house.
That was the thing.
Right. I mean, I had some ideas or something. Like I tinkered with a blog before, but hadn't like really kept up with it. So some of the idea was up there, but really what kind of fueled me was during the pandemic, I felt extremely isolated. Prior to the pandemic, I was still a person who was like used to going out. I'm extremely sociable. I go to places with my kids. Like I was just out, like to be out and about. And of course, the pandemic shut all that out. And not only was I like legitimately like sad about not being able to connect with people, and then even with like people not like, if you remember at that time, like people were afraid to even look at each other. Like so you could still go to Target,
a weird time. Right? A weird space.
And as a extrovert, as a sociable person, like it really kind of affected me. And so Clubhouse was probably my only outlet. I found a community of people who were also in Baltimore and really just talking to them. And then like other rooms where it was like, all right, well, this is like trying to basically like show like the next like business wave, or like this is how you can do this is how you do like your next hustle. And at the time I felt like I was kind of stagnant. I was learning all this information, but I was kind of stagnant. So as we kind of got out of lockdown, or the pandemic starting to like lighten up in 2022, really, I decided like this is going to be my year where I just start throwing some things at the wall. Okay. So last year was my first time of putting on my first event, like actually doing like a promotion thing. My first event was a mom's mixer. I held it with a colleague of mine, and I had like a good turnout for it. But that was like my first time like really trying to figure out how to design a graphic, like really going out and like talking to people for myself, like for my event, and like really drawing attention to me.
Okay.
So that's kind of what started. So I had this event, my first event. It was a free event for moms. A lot of people came out. And I felt really good about connecting people that way. And so really, that was kind of what really forced the momentum of, what, I should probably keep this going. Yeah. I had another event that I wanted to get some buzz around. So the roundup actually wound up happening because I was like, all right, well, if these events are coming, like if I'm putting on people to these events, then maybe if I slide mines on in there, like they'll, actually show up to mines. Right. And I started kind of late. So that second event kind of was a flop, and the price point might have been like too high. Okay. But the roundup itself picked up. Like it was like a lot of people who shared it and everything. And then at that point, it was a thing where I wanted to stay consistent and like had to do something for myself, like prove something to myself. Okay. And so from June until now, it's been something that's dropped every week.
That's what's
so up. Like that's so that's the story.
That's what's up. Yeah. Guys, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
When you was talking about the mommy thing, it's an episode I did with Maya, and she had a similar event. I'm gonna send you that when I think y'all can connect on something.
Sure.
That'll be a great thing teaming up. But so what is your? I'm trying not to get to your secret sauce with how you do this, but so do you typically for events in the different spots, like you promote spots and like hidden places and all that as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is your thing like when you find a spot, you'll try, and then you'll promote it, or is it like?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said you're not promoting nothing that you.
I'm not promoting nothing that I'm not at least halfway familiar with. Like I gotta know the people, I gotta know the spot, like I gotta know something about it. Like it ain't just like, all right, like on a whim. Like it's that's just not happening. Trust you me, I definitely know something about it where it's like I'm willing to put my stamp on it, because as a influencer, like I want people to trust my perspective on things. Gotcha. That's not something that I want to I don't want to misuse that. Yeah. So I'm trying to be very responsible with my platform.
And like, once you get that, it's you got it basically. Yeah. The trust of people, because the two people that I see that got a lot of significance with influence in Baltimore, Charm City Table and Cousin Kim. Yes. I see, so like both of them, a lot of people, you sharing pages and posts with people, it's a lot of them, and it's like more than likely 9 times out of 10, people willing to try stuff if they post it. Yeah. So that's the power in being an influencer and being authentic. I think the authentic part of it is because like Cousin Kim, she talk like
she does.
Yeah, right. So it's like versus.
I love her.
I do too. Versus if you go to like the other Baltimore, like the other pages, and they'll just basically like try this food. Right. You only know what they look like. Yeah. Stuff like that. So it's like, and you can take like I guess it's pros and cons of that, because at the end of the day, if it's a spot that you don't know about, and you look up the menu, you see some shit that you like, you gonna try it, whether they post it or not. But do you feel like it's a lot of, because like I told you off the camera, I follow damn near every page, food page. It don't even got to be Baltimore, DC, Maryland, anywhere, even if it ain't even around us. Like if they got good food, I'm gonna follow it. But do you feel like Baltimore has a whole lot that people don't know about?
I think they do. Okay. I think that we have a whole lot that people don't know about. I actually feel like a lot of people do know about our food. Like, our food is really good. Like, I think our food stands up.
I didn't travel. I don't travel a whole lot. I haven't been to a whole lot of places. But to me, when I hear about other places, I feel like we got the best food in the country.
So here is my non-scientific reason why I can tell you that we have the best food.
Okay.
The Food Network loves Baltimore, has loved Baltimore for like over a decade now. Like, mad places, like every diner driving, like they were like, oh, you gotta try this. There's so many places like in Baltimore specifically. So I really feel like we have high quality food. It's not like just, there's some places that might be aesthetically pleasing in other places, but we definitely have quality eats.
Cause we got everything.
We got everything.
I was just talking about this with weather. Like, I'm not gonna sit here. I love Baltimore because it's me. It raised me and it made me. But I always, like, every time you hear about like catastrophes with weather and stuff, like, we don't go through that because we get everything. So we we prepared for everything.
Yep.
If it snow down south too bad, they shutting the whole city down.
They don't know what to do. Right.
Like, so it's like we kind of. We got our pros and cons, but we got a lot of pros too.
Yeah, I mean, like, and so even with, I know we're talking about food at the moment, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that Baltimore, even beyond food, has so many perks that we probably don't highlight. I think food is a given, and trust me, it should be an attractor. Like, people eat every day. That's a good thing, and I think that we should definitely highlight that. We should definitely also highlight the great chefs that we have.
True.
But then there are so many other people in other elements, like the culture curators of the world. Like, we have such a great art scene. The Park Extra is like taking his wave or whatever. But like anything in terms of like an art form, all the museums that we have. I literally work at an art-based elementary school.
Okay.
My daughter, my eldest child, she literally goes to an art-based middle and high school.
Okay.
We definitely have one of the most prominent art schools on the East Coast in Micah. So it's like, don't sleep on Baltimore and all this elements. You cannot do that.
That's a good point. That's a great point. We got the School of Arts.
Yes, we do. Right. And how many people we know that came from there? Like, come on, Tupac, Jada. Like, come on now. There's so many different people. Like, do not sleep on the art and the creativity that Baltimore has.
So you feel like creativity is a gene of Baltimore people? Do you feel like?
Let's say that.
You look like, I don't know about all that.
No. Actually, that was a look like, I've never said that, but I think that's probably worth saying. Like, yes, this is in our genes, this is in our blood. We get it hard in the paint. Even, probably why I gave it a side eye is because I didn't necessarily consider myself like an artist or a creative. I'm just recently taken to the idea that I'm a creative. My mother is an artist, and for the longest time I didn't even see her as an artist. She was a stay-at-home wife. She is a stay-at-home wife, and she made everything for us. Like, she always was a painter. Any like craft like she would often like redecorate any room like a dozen times within a month. Creative. Like, she's a super creative person. Like, she could do anything. She can sew, she can embroider, she can paint, she can sculpt. She just basically does it all. Me as her daughter, like, I just saw, okay, well, she a mom and she don't work. But as I got older, because everybody else's moms work, and as a child, I didn't quite value it. But
it's always different when you the one that's.
It's always, but as a young adult, and then now as an older adult, like I respect her artistry and her creativity for what it is. So even now, as I'm saying, okay, well, I'm just doing it in a different way. I'm showing my creation in a different way. I don't sing, I don't dance, I don't rhyme words, but I'm creating a tapestry in the background.
You creating a hell of a thing. Like, this got a hell of potential to be the one, like the go-to. I feel like all of these type of pages and businesses, like, you could be the one that basically, when I come to Baltimore, this is what I need to look forward to. Because a lot of time, anybody, like, you got friends or family that come from out of town might come and you be like, what can we do tonight? you gonna tell them the basics, the regular stuff that you might do on a Friday night.
Right.
But when you got options, it makes it different, especially if they not into everything you into, or if you don't know. Because I feel like every time I could tell anybody, if they be like, where should I go if I want this? Where should I go if I want that? But if you ask me on a random day, or if it's like a coworker, like the people I work with, one of the guys, he live in Jersey, but we meet once a month, and he'll come down and stay in Baltimore.
Okay.
So he one time he asked, like, what's the seafood spot you told me to go to? So if I'm telling a black person to go somewhere, it's gonna be different when I'm telling a white guy where to go to. 9 times out of 10, like, even if I say something like Lock Bar,
right?
If I say go to Lock Bar, I'm gonna tell you go in the daytime. I'm not gonna tell you go at the nighttime, because we dominating at the nighttime, especially in the summertime.
This is true,
right?
Right.
So
yeah.
you gotta know what you gotta know, and then like I got homies from DC. And when they want to come down here, they be like, where should I go, such and such? And I pitch them a bunch of places. I'm going to give you 10 places. Like, a lot of people ask me about spots, because I told you I love trying new places.
Right.
I was about to say new foods. I don't know if I really like trying new foods.
What's your favorite food?
Salmon.
Well, what's your go-to food? Salmon?
Salmon, yeah. I love salmon. Salmon, mashed potatoes, rice.
Very simple.
Yeah, very simple. I'm very simple, but... See, I'm different. I'm different but simple. So I like simple meals, but I like different places.
Okay, that's
But
good.
I don't eat, like, I'll go to a steakhouse and I'm going to get seafood, because I don't eat red meat. I don't eat steak.
Okay.
I don't eat steak and none of that. So if I go to, like, Morton's, or if I go to Ruth Chris, I'm going to get salmon. Or some sea bass or something like that.
Well, sea bass is good.
Yeah, I like
right.
seafood. I could be a pescatarian. I always tell people, I want to be one, but it's just easier to find chicken.
Chicken is seafood, very easy.
Like on the go. It's hard to find seafood on the go sometimes.
This is true. I want to be a vegetarian, but I just love the variety of food too much.
Yeah, see, it's tough. It's tough.
Right. So.
But like but yeah, so I was basically saying, like, we got so much to offer, and so much for different people with different. But when you got like something like what you guys like, it's perfect for people that don't know.
Yes.
Or people that need versatility.
Yeah. And which is, I think that's kind of what I try to offer. So even on the roundup, let's say even for this week, there is a writer's event, a conversational series that's happening at Enoch Pratt. A lot of people don't know that that's something, right, at the library. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that that's like a place that you could go, because everything isn't like, well, what I don't like, I love to party with the best of them. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too old to where like the club isn't always like my thing, but I still like the smaller, like, okay, you might find a familiar face, or it might be just like something that's interesting that's just happening. So I do kind of like the low key things. I like to put that in there. Some of the cultural items, they have fun, interesting things that come along the city, like even the Lunar Night Festival that just happened recently. So I try to give a mix of things. Most of them are leaning towards the millennial crowd, but some of them are also like family fun. Like I like to basically give a mix. There's some fitness sometimes involved. There might be like a yoga and wine type of situation. So what I really do try to give is a variety. I consider myself to be a dynamic person. Depending upon the day, I might be interested in something different. So I try to give that a mix. Everything isn't, going to the club or going to the bars to the happy hour.
That's what we need, different, because that's typical.
Right.
Going to the club and all of that. But a lot of times I think people fall victim to, we need somewhere to go. Let's go to Canton. Let's go to Fed Hill, stuff like that.
Right.
A lot of them places not even for us.
No.
So, and as we just go because we can.
Right.
But when we trying to find different spots and stuff like that where we can be ourselves and have fun. I had this, it was a spot, and I think it closed now. It was called Bartenders. It was right there on
I never went, but I know what you're talking about. Right on Boston Street.
Yup. I used to love this spot. I went with my homegirl years ago, and I used to always just go. This was like my date spot. I go there because when you won't see nobody in there, food wasn't all that. But it was chill. Okay. And I had a bad experience in there one day. Like, I had my little cousin. He was with me, and he from the hood. He outside. He don't go to no places like this. And he said something, he said he asked the lady for and mind you, this lady is she was basically just bringing the food out. She wasn't our waiter. She was in the kitchen. So that's why I said he outside. He don't know no better.
Right.
So he asked the lady for a Sprite, and she was Spanish, and she told our waiter that he called her a spick. So it was a whole interaction. Like, it was a girl with me. I was with a girl and him. And of course, he don't even know what the fuck she mean when she said, because niggas don't know. If you don't know, I don't even know what the fuck that mean. Right. I know he don't know what that mean.
Yeah.
So it was a whole interaction. We had words. Like, it got crazy, but it's shit like that. Like, is typically, because if it was a white person doing it, and I don't get in that race shit, but if it was one of them, they probably wouldn't have thought nothing of it too much.
Yeah.
But since one of us did it, and like we don't dominate that, it's like, where can we go when we go for a chill spot?
Right.
That got like good drinks, good food, or like that, without feeling like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, nobody should ever be made to feel like an other.
Yeah. And not to say that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but not to say like this happens all the time. That's the only time that ever happened.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when we go to spots like this, because we know a lot of times, I can speak for me and my friends, if we go down those areas, is because whether you want to bar hop or you want to go to something different, those are like the areas where you can go to that different and get that. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, definitely nobody should ever be made to feel like a other, but even to your point, I think there are a lot of reasons why Black people like us don't think to go to certain places, because that's kind of the expectation that we will be treated as a other. Yeah. So it's almost like it takes like a few of us to say like, no, like, hey, you have a right to be in this spot, and also like it's cool. Yeah. But yeah, like you can be in this place. Say for example, like, I don't know, like spots in Hampton. I've never had any bad experiences there, but generally speaking, it was historically known to be like a white area. Like, this is just not like a place that most Black people, most West Baltimoreans go. But I do the majority of my like shopping there, like my in Hampton one. It's like it's close to where I live at.
I like Hampton.
It's cool. Like I even had an apartment there, like way back in the day, briefly. But it's the idea that you just might, like, Baltimore has this racist past. Yeah. And so we self-segregate a lot of the times too.
Yeah, that's true.
But fortunately, you don't, in my experience, the experience that you had is mine, and it doesn't happen that often.
No, that's the only time it ever happened.
Right. No, I'm sure, and things happening, and you shouldn't just make it seem like, okay, well, just because that happened there, this place is just like off limits. Because sometimes
I try to preach. At that time, I was younger, so I probably didn't think. I just never went back, and I was mad because I liked that spot. But I'm big on grace. Yeah, like, I'm not going to say just because one waiter did that, the whole place is like this either. So I didn't go back just because I just felt crazy about that one. That just fucked me up. They twisted that, but I'm big on grace. Like I feel like that's something that we as people, we have to give that too. Like, if you go to a spot and somebody say I ain't like that food, or if you it's a restaurant, I'm not going to say the name, but it's a restaurant, a Black owned restaurant that they made a post on Instagram, and I always see when they interact with the commenters, it's never positive. It's always like a little, I'm like, why are you acting like this and this your business? And then it was somebody had made a post about the spot, and they basically was saying how they didn't like how the owner was treating the employees and how the employees were treated, but the food good, good food, and I was still going, and I haven't in a while, but I still do. But I remember sharing that with somebody, and they was like, damn, I was going to go. I wanted to try them out. And at my head, I was kind of like, well, don't not go because I'm telling you this. Still try it, but I get why you wouldn't either, though. Yeah. Because it's kind of, I had an interview with Sharif's. You know Sharif's, right? The restaurant. Yeah. So when he was on here, I talked to him about the same thing. And I was basically saying that, it's kind of hard to, I feel like as a restaurant owners, it's kind of hard to not be the bigger person in issues. I don't know if it's all businesses, but like restaurant, because it's like any kind of negative from a restaurant is kind of hard to like bypass it with people. If you get one bad food experience, you might not go back. If somebody treats you wrong, you might not go. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to go back. So it's kind of like thin ice with that. Tell me what your thoughts.
Oh no, I 100% agree. And you know, it is such thin ice because I know exactly who you're talking about.
I knew you would. I knew you would. I knew you would.
But at the same time, guess what? They do have good food.
Right.
Right. And I have been, and I have experienced that person directly, and I haven't had that experience
you
with
had
it.
Good experience.
I've had a positive experience.
Right, see?
I would continue to promote them. I think that is probably it's such a it is a double-edged sword. Even I guess
it's tough.
because I do want people to trust my opinion on things, but I also want to advocate for people that form their own opinion.
True.
So don't like completely castigate somebody just off of somebody else's experience. You know, like I think that it's probably worth giving it a chance, and truthfully consider the fact that, especially when we're talking about Black-owned businesses, we have so much going against us. We have a limited access to capital. We usually already have this expectation from our own community to present ourselves in a certain type of way. Like it is like you said, it's a double-edged sword. It's a tightrope, and I think we probably need to extend those places with grace. Give them an opportunity. There are a few prominent places that I am hoping that they will win. And it's still like this place is just not. It's just not getting it. It's not like catching the flavor that I want. But I want them to succeed. Not necessarily want them to succeed because it's a Black business, but I want businesses to have the opportunity to, you know, grow into themselves. And I know that the Black community specifically could be so hypercritical that everybody might not have that same opportunity.
The food business is very critical. Like even if you go on Yelp, when they post stuff in Yelp, is not a lot of time. Majority of it is negative. If I see because I'm a foodie in my own right. If I see a restaurant, I'm gonna go to the menu and I'm gonna go to Yelp. I want to see what this food.
Are you posting a review though?
No, I only did a review once, and I did it was a bad review because I was mind blown by this experience, and it was this restaurant in Bethesda. I used to work when I told you I worked in Silver Spring. It was a restaurant in Bethesda, and it was ridiculous. Like they took so long with the food, and they basically carried it like it was not a big deal.
Okay.
And I'm not a flip out. I'm not going to pay for even that experience I told you with bartenders. I still paid the bill. The girl I was with was like, I wouldn't even pay them, and I was like, nah, because that's what they expect. They expect us to wild out, knock stuff over, and don't pay the bill and leave and all that. But no, I'm gonna let you know about yourself, but I'm gonna pay this bill. You just won't get nothing else from me. But this spot was, but I also said, I'm gonna let you read it, because I also said in a review, I was like, I like the place. I think it's a nice place. I just think like y'all should do this better next time. I felt the way about that.
So it was a balanced review. It was like, okay, I'm gonna tell you about yourself. But think about how many people. It's usually the people who have a bad experience who are willing to talk review. About it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So it's like, are you really getting like a balance for people who are reading the reviews? True. Are you really getting a balanced look at the spot?
If I leave a good review, you really topped it with me. If I leave, because I'm not gonna leave no review, good or bad. But like I said, with that one, that rubbed me the wrong way, like real bad. I was like, damn, like why? Like I was fucked up behind it. Like luckily I wasn't. I don't think I was meeting somebody, so I don't think it was like I was on no like hungry shit. But it just fucked me up. But like if I leave a good review, you really did your thing, because I don't be caring too much about that. But I want to ask you a few questions. Okay. Then we can go into our event. What's your favorite spot in Baltimore? Food spot. Let's say that.
What's my favorite food spot? It depends on how I'm feeling. I would say my favorite food spot is Water for Chocolate.
Okay. Yeah. I've been there before.
Yeah, Water for Chocolate.
You like, Okay.
Even though I was talking about you and your very simple taste, I'm like a big breakfast person, and
I'm a huge breakfast.
Okay.
person. I'm huge.
More specifically, like French toast. They have a really good French toast.
I'm huge. They got that with the yellow sauce on it, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So I recently took some girlfriends there for brunch, but yeah, that definitely is a spot. I used to live in Patterson Park, kind of like walking like a good mile. Yeah. So like I would sometimes me and just my daughter at the time, like we would walk to that spot and like get food. Like that would be kind of like our thing. Like I really like that neighborhood because it definitely was like walkable and like you could get like a good meal.
That's like a real hidden gem area too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like because if I didn't know about that, I would have never known that was right there.
Yep.
It's on the corner, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It definitely is.
It was years ago when I went. But
right.
Yeah.
And it's expanded since that. I mean, it's it was smaller and then it got bigger.
Okay, see, I was about to ask you that because I ain't know if it got. It was real small when I went that time.
Right.
So, okay.
Well, it's double the size now. It still could be bigger because they're still in demand for brunch and everything, especially. But that definitely is like a good spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite food.
Favorite food. I am partial to all things lobster.
Okay. Lobster rolls.
A lobster roll. Lobster rolls is probably like the least favorite, but I love a lobster ravioli.
That sounds good. Oh my God. From where?
The place. You know what?
You don't want to give up your spot?
No, I'm gonna give out the spot, but it puts me in a we talk about like people and their experiences with it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's Tagliata. Okay. It's an Atlas Group.
You had a bad experience there?
No, I mean, Atlas Group,
yeah. That was my next question.
Right, it is a thing. It is a thing, but if I'm willing to go on a limb to say that a lot of people are hypocrites with their boycott.
That's one thing. That's kind of hard because they got the city on lock.
They sell bread. Like, let's keep it real. Like, most of us are buying their bread. It's in our household. It's a whole. H&S? Yes.
They own it?
It's a whole family.
Oh, I ain't know that. Okay, I ain't know that. You put me on.
Maven.
I know. I might have known that, but I can't think
right,
of
yeah. So,
I mean. This.
So, Atlas Group is the restaurants. And that is the younger sons or whatever, right? Okay. Right. But the larger family is the Patarakis and like it's all very it's a family business.
Okay.
It's a family business, but guess what? They have good spots. They have good food.
Yeah. And you talk about aesthetic.
They knock it out the park.
Because the girls, summertime, girls love cute spots.
They do.
The food don't gotta be good. If it's cute, if the drinks is good,
right?
It don't matter. They don't
So if you want me to keep it 100, yes, I love their lobster.
Okay.
Ravioli. Yes.
I gotta try that. Okay. What's in it? Is lobster ravioli? Is it cheese in it? Spinach?
It's a white Alfredo sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. So not insider, but
I never ate that tagliata. I know about it.
It's definitely a favorite.
So how you feel about Atlas Group?
I feel fine. I feel fine, and you're not gonna cancel me because I know what's in your household. Right. Let's just keep it. I know what's in.
So situations like that, I guess that goes back to what I was talking about. My experience is kind of like, as long as you don't get a bad experience with it, you'll fuck with it, kinda.
Yeah, okay. I mean, people can talk about maybe consistent behavior, like if there's a pattern or something like that. But at the end of the day, I think that you should probably use yourself as your own litmus test for whether you value something in general, or whether this thing works for you. Yeah. So I do want you to take my word for it, but never let my word trump your own.
Yeah, right.
So even
just
if
consider it.
Right. So even if you have decided you have drawn your line in the sand, this is not an experience, this is not a place that you ever want to support, that's fine. But I also have a right to spend my dollars where I deem fit.
Very much.
So it just is what it is, and I do like them, and I like their food, and I like their experiences there. I have been friends with some of the people who have been employed there, some Black people. But even if it wasn't that, I think probably we put too much on a place. It's just selling food.
True. I ain't gonna lie. That shit that happened at Uzo Bay bothered me a little bit though. But I also got love hate. Well, more hate than love with people recording shit and all that too. Right. You never know the intent. Sometimes people sparks. And I'm not saying with this situation either, like, cause I don't know what happened with that. But a lot of times with places and people, they spark shit just to get that video and say all that. But I'm definitely not saying it with that, cause I ain't siding with them people at all with that shit. But you know this, so like that also goes into consideration with how that. And it's another spot. I had a semi feeling when I went to this one place, but when one of my friends posted interaction she had at this restaurant, it kind of like confirmed it, and I still was going there, but I stayed away. I don't know if you know about Johnny's in Roland Park.
I know about the place, but I don't know.
So they got good breakfast, and I used to go there a lot. And I can't remember exactly what it was. No, so it's minor stuff, but you know, it's sometimes you just feel funny with how they be. And my friend had said, I forgot what her issue was, but she said something. But you know, there's a lot of, I don't go in places expecting nothing but good food. I don't care if of course I want to be treated right too, but I don't really look for all that other shit. Like if you don't come back quick enough and all that,
right.
I just get, as long as my food good, we'll figure it out. What's your favorite bar? What's a bar that you would recommend somebody to go to?
What's my favorite bar? Everybody has been going to this bar. It used to be like my in the cut, like big spot.
That's the gift and the curse about the internet now.
I know.
Because they put a spot on there and then it's like, it's over with.
Yeah.
Everybody going to go here.
Right. Now. My new ducked off spot is not too far from here.
Okay.
So I still got one in the touch. But Bluebird Cocktail Bar.
Bluebird. That's the one in Hampton? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's supposed to be a, what do you call it?
You'll probably want to call it a speakeasy.
That's what I was about to say. It's not really?
Technically it's not, because it's not like hidden. Okay. Usually like the element of a speakeasy is that it's like you kind of got to like know like where it is, or here's like some alternative like entrance. But
it looked like a house though, right?
Well, everything looked like a house, but yeah.
I've never been in there. I know where it is.
You never been?
No, I never been in there. I know exactly where, because I go to Avenue Kitchen a lot.
Yeah.
So I
That's
know,
a cool spot, right?
I know where it's at. I know where it's at, yeah.
Yeah.
But Bluebird is...
Bluebird is still like a special gem. Like it has like a nice intimate feeling of it. Like it's darkly lit. It has this, their menu has a storyline to it. Okay. It just has like all of these like additional elements that you just kind of like appreciate. Like it's just like a special. And they got swings outside, so it's just really cute.
Got you. So how do you feel about this whole? I know this is not new. Speakeasies aren't new, but the whole like people finding out about a lot of them here. How you feel about the speakeasies?
I think I love it for one, because there's also like I've now have this like business brain, like so the more like we can develop the area is just so much better. So like I love it. The fact that people know about it, I want people to explore the city. So for me, it's just like a win-win. I like seeing familiar faces. Like I like seeing black faces in like the spots I go in. Like I really want to try to explain to people like you too belong here, and it is cool, and you can experience like different things. So yeah, I'm all for it.
I don't think people. I think we don't care. I think people gonna definitely we gonna find our way in spots, and we don't care about all that. What's an event or a space that's not a bar or restaurant that you would recommend? Like somewhere, somebody say Friday night, I just want to go somewhere and maybe hear some music or somewhere to chill. That's cool.
So those are like two separate things. Like when you ask like what's an event or what's it like space. Right, so can I answer how I want to answer it? All right. So there are like two things that I probably really want to plug. Black Ass Flea Market is definitely a vibe. Like anything that he put together is just like cool.
What is it?
The Black Ass Flea Market is
Black Ass
Flea Market.
Okay. I ain't hip.
So they put on a vendor marketplace, but they also do pop-up events at different spaces, and they have different themes. Like even right now, they have a Valentine's Day matchmaker event that's happening at Zen in the City, a spot in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
So really, I would plug like anything that they have. They have really good like dot connectors and like just creating like a unique experience.
Okay.
The other thing that I would probably plug is the night brunch, which again is as a matter of fact, they're both of them are joining to do a CIAA event at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum.
Okay.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that later this month. But the night brunch is also a group, two dope people. Jason Bass, who works at who's with Hotel Revival.
Okay.
And the DJ, I think the DJ's name, DJ Impulse, but his name is Brian. But anyway, they also they do pop-up events at different restaurants. Yeah. They have a DJ. They might have like a signature menu for that particular night.
Okay.
And so like they really like bring in some people.
Yeah.
And it's just like really cool. You see so many people like just dressed nicely and everything.
Yeah, they do good events.
Yeah.
Nice events. Yeah.
There's like there are people that I literally only see at those events, and I expect to see them at those events, and then they like my night brunch friends.
Yeah. That's cool. That's always good. It's always good. So going into this event next week, we can talk about how that came together. So
how you want to talk about it?
If you haven't, please check out episode. This is 112, so that's 110. Episode 110 with Ryan. I kept beating it the whole episode, like, please do this event, giving up this information. And we put it in the universe and it came together. So Kendra connected with Ryan off of that podcast just by reaching out, right?
I slid in the DMs.
And that's one thing that...
I'm a DM slider. I don't play no fucking games. My bad. But like I don't play any games because this is the digital marketplace that we have. It's like I feel like Baltimore is a very real landscape, but then there's just like this digital area also of Baltimoreans that exist that can be connected. And I use Instagram or really whatever platform. I'm gonna slide in the DM. I'm gonna make a pitch.
Yeah, something that I got to get better with, a lot better with. Like I hate being ignored. So if I send something one time, you'll never hear from me again.
Oh no, you come in.
And that's something that I know that I can't be in this field because I know you gotta get it done, especially when I'm doing it myself. So I gotta get out of there. So I applaud you for doing that. And I'm glad.
I got a good winning streak. Can I tell you?
Go ahead, please. Please tell me.
So even years ago, and I definitely want to plug this event, but years ago, like even the shirt that I'm wearing, this is a Mess in a Bottle t-shirt. Years ago, I was being profiled for my work as a childbirth educator. And she had a shirt that said Black girl plus magic equals, like Black girl plus something equals magic. And I saw the shirt, I saw her at a spot before, saw that she had this shirt, and I DM'd her. I knew that I was about to be featured on this paper, so I slid in the DMs, was like, hey, like, can I get a shirt from you?
Is this the lady with the short hair?
Yeah, she has short hair. Yep, Kalila.
I'm gonna tell you about that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So like I slid in her DMs. This would be like 5 years ago at this point, and was like, "Can I get a shirt? Like I need it for this." And sure enough, like she handed it to me. She didn't know me from anybody. Like I definitely didn't have any presence back then. And so she gave me a shirt for me to wear. And then years later, I slid in her DMs again and pitched, my school, needs new shirts. Like, we want to do this marketing thing. Like, I think that you would be a great fit for our school. Can you design some shirts for me? And wound up working that out. So, I'm really adamant about reaching out to the people that I see where I can make the connections. And I have an idea. I'm gonna let you know, and hopefully you like it.
I'm gonna start that's something that I'm gonna put on my list. I'm gonna pray about it. I'm putting it on my list for this year to be a better networker and a better DM slider when it's not about other things that don't matter.
I mean, that's good practice.
True. But no, like I definitely gotta step my game up with that. So like I said, I'm glad that you did that because I wanted Ryan to do that. Not even if I wasn't a part of it, but I'm definitely happy and grateful to be a part of it. But so tell me, what was your approach going with, like your approach reaching out to her and like your approach? What did you see from hearing this podcast and then coming up with the idea to reach out? Because anybody could have said like, I want to be a part of y'all doing this. So
right.
What was your intent?
Well, from seeing Ryan on the podcast, and what I loved was one, just seeing her as a young Black woman, really talking about her experience as a real estate developer and how she got into the game. So, like, she really shared her story, and to me, it sounded like we had like minds of developing the community in a real way. What really stuck out to me really was her talking about commercial development of the city. I've expressed to you pre-pod, like I'm very serious about getting a coffee shop in Park Heights. Like I'm adamant about this.
Remind me to introduce you. I know I'm going to remember because I told her to come. My cousin, she in that field too, so I'm gonna definitely connect you with her.
But so her story like really connected with me. She seemed like she was a moving and shaking. And I've gone to like home buying seminars and everything, but I've always felt like the information is kind of like lacking. There is home buying is one thing, but then you have other people who have like an interest in the neighborhood. It might have plans around it that most people just don't simply know about or don't think that they could be a part of the conversation. So that
you get that she's a part of it.
Yes.
She's like, you getting it from a person that's like, this ain't no person that just came with like, I want to do this.
Right. Yeah. Like, this ain't no big, developer
company,
like
just coming to do some
right.
shit. Yeah.
So that's why I hit her up. So it was definitely, shout out to your platform and everything, but then even shout out to Ryan, and I hit her up. We met. I think in there I pitched. I said like, hey, like, I've done events before. I'm interested in helping support you with this event. Let's see if we could do something. Let's meet up. And so we talked, we brainstormed about it. And she is a go-getter, and she was ready to set a date for it, and so was I. And of course, like, you were the one that was pushing her mainly for it, so of course it made perfect sense for you to also be a part of it. I came up with the name. The name of the event is Reinvest West. I love it too, because everybody develops this white L, and Hopkins seems to have over East on lock.
Yeah.
West Baltimore, Park Heights specifically, is where I'm from. This is where I'm from. It's where I live. It's where I work. Like, I'm heavily invested in seeing that community thrive. So for me, Reinvest West kind of fit the bill for
sure.
For my vision.
That's the perfect name for it.
Yeah. And getting in, I guess we call them stakeholders, but like people who, the regular citizens who have an interest in, want to have their input, and then the people who have the capacity and the means to actually see the vision through. Right.
Yeah.
So that is the idea behind Reinvest West, and we are meeting for the first time next week.
What's your goal with this? Like, after this happens, do you like tell me what's your thoughts and ideas?
Besides my coffee shop?
Yeah, I was going to throw that. I wanted to ask if you want, like, I want you to put that in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
just the same way we did with that event. I want you to put your coffee shop in the atmosphere because I want you to make that happen. That's going to really bring a difference to Park Heights. Because one thing about I will say, the other cultures don't mind going places. We don't mind either, but like as we should both share, like, when you're uncomfortable. But when they gonna go somewhere, they gonna go somewhere.
Right. This is true.
Yeah. So it's like, if you put that right there, and it's that, they gonna come there.
They definitely will,
and that's gonna open up more doors.
Yeah, they do, and then they stick around, and then it's almost like a reverse gentrification, or I almost feel like I'm kind of like holding the line. like specifically with Park Heights, like or Baltimore specifically. Like I'm not going to allow not on my watch. Like Ayala says, like Baltimore is not going to become whitewashed. Like I'm just simply not having it.
It's kind of hard to become because I feel like I don't know the demographic, but I feel like we dominated anyway.
We do, but we need to dominate in terms of the infrastructure as well.
True. Right.
We need to have our presence everywhere from a digital perspective, from a in where the meetings are held perspective. Like we have an opinion, we should be. They say like if you're not at the table, you're on the menu or like right. So it's just like no, like we can't have it. We gotta get ahead of things. We gotta have these conversations. We gotta have a strategy in place, and we have to look towards the future. Even if we're talking about something that's planned for 10 years down the line, that's fine. I'll be here.
Yeah,
my children will be here. So for me,
that's what it's for anyway.
That's absolutely who it's for. I have a responsibility at minimum to them, and it extends outside of just my 18 years with them. Like I have to build a legacy that creates a safe and nurturing place for them, and that also by proxy that means that I have to make a safe and nurturing place for other people.
Yeah,
and I'm serious about that's not just developing the basics, but also like the additional thriving elements of parts about joy that's in the city. And I feel like we don't need another dollar store.
Right.
Like we just don't.
For sure.
So that's my vision for Reinvest West. Right. That's kind of what I want to do, and I want to have people who can have those conversations and kind of almost moving from that event and hopefully to having more to kind of create like a think tank. If we're even looking at housing bills or any type of legislation and seeing how we can mobilize people to make sure that we design the future how we want it to be.
So you go to like city hall meetings and all that type of stuff?
I have.
Okay. You feel like it's effective?
I feel it depends on what you want out of it. I think you can give your testimony to some things, and publicity is a factor of it. Like I've lobbied in Annapolis before on a few different things, but I think probably what's most important is for you to at least be aware of the mechanics around it. It's not anything that somebody can necessarily tell you. Again, you do have to experience it for yourself, and I think that if maybe that part doesn't work effectively on its own, but it definitely is a factor. Okay. And it's your responsibility as a citizen to actually know how that plays a part. It's also your responsibility as a citizen to know how you can play a part.
Yeah, and I think that's where the lack comes at. If we don't know what we can do, and then a lot of times when we do know, it's just about feeling like it's gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
So
we just gotta have longer foresight. I mean, maybe I won't move the needle tomorrow, but
you might though.
I might.
Or you might spark the one to do it.
And I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, as long as it get done.
As long as it gets done.
I'm with you. So, best chicken box in the city.
So about that, I'm a call like a Hail Mary pass. Like I know that people have like they'll say like Sonny's. So like I know that's a spot. I think I would say like Santa Maria's. Okay. That used to be my spot personally. Okay. But if you recall, like I had a mom who like fried chicken. Like I like that.
So your house was the best chicken box. Okay.
The best fried chicken, the best crab cakes. Like stop playing.
You had Royals?
I never had Royals. Okay. I know that's like a big one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you strictly Park Heights, or you like you fuck with all sides of the city?
I have my
how do I say this?
Right. No, I'm for all the city, but I think that Park Heights specifically gets overlooked. And so I'm going to hype my city. I'm gonna hype my area. This like it raised me. I lived and thrived over there. Like I had good experiences there. I still live there. Like I still live in C1215. Okay. So you know, a lot of other people hype the other side. I was like, no, I'm Park Heights and I'm not.
I love that.
It's more than a dance.
I love that. So you town and you or you just
you tried it. You really, really tried it with me.
I'm just saying that's Park Heights too though. Cross the North Park when you know.
Tried it with me.
I'm just saying. But so in closing, I appreciate this conversation. I definitely think we got a gem with this event, and I think you got a gem with Charm City Maven. Like we need this, and I definitely think one thing I think that's unique about pages like yours and people who got similar pages is the perspective is always different. Mm-hmm. So if somebody could post a spot, you could post a spot, but people gonna look at both because one ain't gonna say the same thing as the other. Right. So it always stands out. So and I definitely think that one thing, like I try to discover new places, and I think that I encourage other people to try to find new places because it's a lot here. It's bigger than what we think it is. Like, you know, when you get to your usual spots and all that, you could run that in the hole. But when you find other gyms and all that, it's like it kind of make me proud a little bit. It's like, damn, we got one. Cause I ain't gonna lie to you, I go to DC in a heartbeat. Like I'll go out there because DC got so much shit and there's so many spots out there. Like you could go to a new spot every day and find a different menu, a different place where you can have fun, a different bar, like all that shit. And I think that, cause I mean, but you gotta take DC for what it is. Like it's people from everywhere in DC.
Right,
so
yeah.
That's totally
high
different.
Class and, you know, everything. They got that Michelin star restaurants. Like it definitely has its thing, but you know.
Yeah, so
Baltimore has better food. We've already
for sure. But I'm just like I say that to say because I like new stuff. But if I could stay here and go to new spots, I'm totally for that. Save me some gas. So yes. I'm all for that. But I'm looking forward to Thursday, and hopefully we get this out before Thursday. And I hope everybody tap in and watch this, and you can come if you can. We are working with limited space, so but we gonna make it happen either way. So even if it come down to that, we gonna make sure you get this information. But please follow Charm City Maven. Tap in. Yeah,
Charm City Maven. Don't forget the.
I'm sorry, the Charm City Maven on Instagram. And check out her website. She just dropped today. I did. I just dropped my website. It's thecharmcitymaven.com. So it gives you like a broader lens of who I am. I better, like more than a weekly roundup. I'm trying to give things from like a monthly perspective. I got like a great little article that I made about Reginald F. Lewis from Baltimore to billionaire. I'm like a little proud about that one. I'm going to check that out. Yeah. So check it out. It's a brief history, but it's a good one. Cool. So tap in and please join us and look forward to more events from the both of us. Cause and look forward to this coffee shop. We making shit happen. Now if this one happened, everybody focus on this one. I know she will, but when she get this coffee shop right, after we did this and we did that event coming together, I'm on to something. I'm gonna crown myself with that. Yes. I'm gonna crown myself with that one. But all in all, for real, thank you for coming. Thank you for this conversation. And tune in next time. We Need Answers podcast. We out.